So Pranshu, thank you so much for agreeing to give out your time to help the community and understand what your journey has been. We really appreciate it.
It's my
Um,
pleasure.
so yeah, without any further ado, I'd like to hand the stage over to Pranshu. Pranshu, if you could give us a bit of background about yourself, and then what your company does, and what the whole journey has been like since you started in 2020.
Let's start. Specifically find this as my foundation, due to which it was not something like thought of making a company and I started the company next year. Okay, it's all been the part of the journey, as Kaushik very well said, that it's a different journey for everyone. Okay, even the people who I have met personally, everyone has a different journey. So it's better for you guys if you get to know journey about everyone, just so that you can relate to those points and you can find what is the turning point for yourself, so that you can also stand out in the whole crowd and start your own company. Okay, so I will start with my journey first. And before starting, like I am a mechatronics engineer, and that's the reason I'm very proud of it. Okay, I just tell everyone I'm a mechatronics engineer, and that's what has molded me for being the all-rounder that I am today. And you will get to know more about it later on into this presentation. Okay, so let's start with who I am. So I am a 22-year-old mechatronics engineer and a robotic enthusiast. In the past, when I was in college, I've been winner of 20 plus national as well as international robotics competitions and hackathons. Okay, I have interned at HL, which is the company that makes fighter jets for Indian Air Force. So I have worked over there. I've made automations in their engines. Okay, and currently I am a budding entrepreneur. I've started my startup around a year ago, and I've been totally dedicated my time over to it. Okay, and I love to share my things. Okay, and that's the reason I also have a YouTube channel of my own, so where I share my learnings with everybody over there. The videos over there are specifically about robotics and ROS, which is robot operating system. But apart from that, I'm in future I'm also planning to have more such kind of sessions where I will be telling about my journey to everyone. Okay, and I work around the field of robotics, automation, IoT, machine learning, computer vision, augmented reality, virtual reality, and a lot more things. Okay, so the reason I work around these all fields is I never wanted to be reliable on someone else. Okay, and you will get to know more about this when I tell about my journey. But you get a brief idea. Like I have worked around various fields, so if you have any questions about anything, you can ask me on Discord itself. So on Discord, my name is Tople. So it's a combination of robot and Tople, which is my surname. So you can find me on Discord as well. Okay. So, and in this presentation, what's in there for you? Okay. So the first thing that you have is I will be sharing my first-hand experience. Like when I was a student, what I did, what mistakes I did, and what I learned from that experience, so that you has a better opportunity to stand out. Okay, that's the first thing that you have. And second thing is understand how to open gates for your future. Okay, so the situation from which I got up, so not everything was provided to me beforehand. Okay, I had to make my own opportunities, I had to open my own gates. So that is what you will be able to understand, like how you can do that. So let's start in the beginning. So in the year 2012 to 2014, that was the year when I was around 14 to 16 years old. And that was an age where there was no internet as well. Okay, I mean, there was internet, but our family didn't had it. There were just broadband connections. And in that duration, okay, I used to take money from my mom. I used to save money a little bit, like a 10 rupees, 15 rupees. And in those 10, 15 rupees, I used to go to cyber cafes just to access to internet. And by accessing, at that time, YouTube was not a boom. Like right now, you can just search anything over YouTube and you will get a proper video for it. But in those cases, there was no YouTube. There was only blogs. So I used to read a lot of blogs in that 15 rupees, how much time I will get. And I used to build those robots after coming home. Okay. So I made some simple robots in the beginning, like here was I took the bristle from the brush, I added a motor on the top, I added I added a phone battery on the top, and that was how I made it. Then I made this remote controlled crane kind of thing using old remote control car parts and some mechanical pieces. Also, I made this garbage collecting robot. Okay, that's funny me over there in the year 2014. So I made these kind of projects because robotics was not very well known by then. Okay, it was still an alien kind of a field where people only thought robotics is means making a humanoid robot. Okay, so in those days I used to build such kind of robots. So this actually proves that you don't need everything when you start. Okay, you can start from a very slow point of view. Okay, and in that duration between these 2 years, I was so passionate about robotics that I used to feel like I was born to revolutionize this field. Okay, I wanted to do something different in this thing, in this field. I wanted to stand out in the whole crowd, and that motivated me to do more and more such stuff. Okay, but as I said, there was a lack of resources at that point. I didn't had anything. There were no robotics classes, there were no robotics workshops. I tried my best. Okay, so as I am from Pune in Maharashtra, I searched for Mumbai and all other big cities around Maharashtra. I searched where can I get robotics education, but there were not many of those things. But still, in the year 2016 I found a ray of hope. So in the year 2016, there was going to be a robotics workshop in a graduation college. So in 2016, I was in 12th standard. Okay, so I had my boards on, and this is around February 2016. Okay, so my board exams were going to be in March 2016. So, but in newspaper I saw an ad where it said that in a college in my surrounding there was a robotics workshop. So, and the dates of that workshop was exactly on the date of my prelim exams. Okay, my preliminary exam. So, but I wanted to attend it, and my parents supported me with that. But so I gave my exams. I ran to the other college where this workshop was going to happen, and there is when I got introduced to the like a proper robot. Okay, a robot which can be programmed, a robot which can do what we command it to do. So there we learned making line following robots, obstacle avoiding robots, and what else it was? Yeah, there was a DTMF, which is like mobile controlled robot. So these robots I learned over there, and it was a workshop which was hosted by IIT Kanpur. So they elected a few teams which could be then sent to finals of this competition. Okay, and luckily, like we were the one, like me and few of my friends, we were the only students who passed out, like who were from 11th and 12th standard. Rest everybody was a graduate person. Okay, graduation students. But among all of them, our team won the first prize for the line following robot competition, and that is how we started our journey into robotics. We then got invited to IIT Kanpur, where we had a like 2 days proper workshop, and they molded us, they taught us more about robotics. So that is how we started the ray of that was the ray of hope, where I got first introduced to officially robotics. Okay, and when you get the opportunity, you have to grab the maximum out of it. Okay, so once I learned that robotics, before that I didn't know coding. Before that I used to build robots just using wires and electrical switches, and maybe sometimes some electronics like a 555 IC timer. But after this, it opened up a lot of gates for me. Okay, it opened me gates for the microcontrollers. It opened me gates for C programming and a lot of more stuff. So I just took the maximum that I can take out of this opportunity, and I started to make robots using the same kit which was provided by IIT Kanpur. So I started making a robot like this, a humanoid kind of robot. Okay, this is in the year 2016. When I just completed my 12th, and I was into like I had a whole vacation of 3 months. So I started to like controlling servo motors, and then I bought a lot of parts and I started to build this complete robot. I first sketched it, I made a small prototype model out of it, and then finally I started to build a complete hardware model of it. Okay. And in that duration, I must say you should keep evolving. Okay. So here you can see three robot arms. This was the first version of robot arm. You can see it was very wobbly. It was so wobbly that I have to place it, like keep it with my hand. I was to keep it stable. This was the second version. You can still see it is a little bit of wobble. It's still over there. I added a battery so that it is a little bit stable. And this is the third version. Okay. So this complete evolvement of a robotic arm was just done in 3 weeks, 1 week for each robotic arm. Okay. So this was the first robotic arm that I made. I found out what all things were wrong in this because I didn't had a stable base. So I added a stable base over here. Then using this kind of claw, I can only pick up a ball. I cannot pick up anything else. That's the reason I made a different kind of gripper. So I just wanted to say, keep on evolving, keep on learning, because that is what is going to lead you to the final destination, which is like you being successful in the field of robotics. Because robotics is not yet a field where everything is evolved, like a computer science field. There is a roadmap for becoming a computer science engineer. If you want to get into data structures, if you want to get into machine learning, there is a path which you can follow. But in robotics, it is not yet defined. Okay, it is completely experimental, not like no one has made a proper robot that could be used in your day-to-day life. And that's the reason the field is still evolving, and that's the reason there is no proper way to become a robotics engineer. It's upon you how you grab those opportunities. It's upon you how, with what kind of robot you make. Okay, so this is the answer that I usually give whenever someone asks how to become a robotics engineer. There is a no proper way. It all depends upon you, and it depends upon what kind of robot you make. Okay. And this complete journey was before my 12th standard. Okay. And when I completed my 12th standard, then came the most important choice of my life, which was what to do next. Should I do engineering, or in engineering, which branch should I take, or what should we do? So I will just recap what kind of person I was till 12th standard. I was a basketball champion. I played basketball at the national level event. So, and our team was champion of it. So I was a basketball champion. I loved sci-fi stuff. So as you guys can see, I loved robots. I loved Iron Man. Okay, I loved Transformers and all other sci-fi movie related stuff. And I was not so brilliant. Okay, so in 12th standard, I got 70% marks, but out of that 70, I actually got 67%. The remaining 2.5% were additional due to the sports quota because we won basketball championship that year. So you can consider me as an average student by 12th standard. But it was a very important step, like what should I do next? Okay. And the answer was right in front of me. I wanted to become a mechatronics engineer. So not exactly mechatronics, but I wanted to become a robotics engineer. But at that time, there was no college who was offering bachelor's in robotics. So the closest thing which I could get is mechatronics. So I thought, why not go for mechatronics? And there were a few more reasons as well. So why I wanted to go for mechatronics, which was Iron Man. I loved Iron Man. I loved sci-fi related stuff. So I wanted to build all those things into real life. Okay. So it's like that motivated me to take this field and try this field. And apart from that, I did a little bit of survey, in which I found like in India there are around like 10 lakh electronics engineers that pass out every year. There are around 15 lakh mechanical engineers, and there are around 20 lakh computer science engineers. Okay, so if you just calculate all of them, there are a lot. 20 plus 15, 35, and 45, almost 45 lakh engineers graduate every year. And what will make you stand out of the 45 lakh engineers crowd? Because if I would have taken any one of these fields, I would have ended up in a normal corporate job, or if I would have taken mechanical engineering, let's consider. So I would have not got knowledge of computer science or something other like coding related knowledge. So that's the reason I opted for mechatronics engineer. And I started to search colleges that were offering mechatronics engineering. So usually I see what people do is they aim for IIT, and even if they get civil engineering in IIT, they just go for it. But in my case, I don't wanted to go for any fancy colleges. I was looking specifically on my stream. I had my goal focused that I wanted to become a robotics engineer, no matter from where, but I wanted to learn that skill. So focus on that skill is really important, which which I was focused for right from the beginning. And I don't want it to be dependent on someone. As I said, if I want to make a robot, if I am a mechanical engineer and I want to make a robot, I will make the mechanical chassis. But for the thought process or the electronics or the artificial intelligence of the robot, I had to be dependent on someone else. If I am building a robot at 12 a.m. or at 2 a.m. at night, at that time, if I want to build this robot, I won't call somebody else and ask how to code this robot. So that's the reason I didn't want it to be dependent on anyone else, and I was focused only and only on like I want to build it by myself, which was eventually a bad decision later on, but you will get to know more about it later. But yeah, so I started to look for colleges that were offering mechatronics in the year 2016, and there were only three colleges which I could find. One was SRM University, second was NMIMS College from Mumbai, and third was ADYPU from Pune. Uh, I got admitted in all the three colleges. Okay, like I qualified all their exams and I got in. But the SRM universities and NMIMS fees were a lot more than my family could afford at that time. So that's the reason I didn't go for those two colleges, and instead I settled for the most cheapest college, which was Ajinkya D.Y. Patil University from Pune. But nevertheless, it was a very beautiful place. Okay, it was a small college, but still it was a very beautiful place. The surrounding was in the outskirts of Pune, so everything was very quiet, and it was a very nice. So I spent my 4 years over here, and what I did in those 4 years was making friends. Okay, so this is where my thought process changed a little bit. Okay, so I started making friends just like any other of you guys who are doing it, spending time in college. Okay, I went around, I bunked classes, I just enjoyed with friends, I did all those things that you could do. But at the same time, I was focused, but I didn't forget about the goal that I had, which was to become a mechatronics engineer, which was to make my own name in the field of robotics. Okay, and that's why even if I spent the day with my friends, I worked day and night for making robots. I learned on my own. Okay, I attended different conferences, I attended different events where there were robot showcases, or even this is the actual Google classes that were released in the year 2016, which was never a product made into a product, but I went to a conference where I could use those classes. So I tried to explore a lot in this field. But I felt a lack of team at that time because, as I said, it was just me who was working day and night, and it was not possible for me alone to make what we can say, make each and every part of robot. If I would have gone by that mentality, it would have taken me years to build robots, or maybe even more. So that's what like we were the first batch of the college. Okay, so we didn't had any seniors to guide us. So, and neither there were any clubs or anything I can stand for. So there was no Robocon club, there was no Yantra club that you have, that you guys have right now. So what I did was I opened door for myself. Okay, so if there is nothing available, why not create of my own? So whatever knowledge I had about robotics, I started to share it with others. So I gathered around people who were interested in robotics in that mechatronics field, and I started to teach them whatever I knew. Okay, completely everything that I knew about robotics, I started to share without any expectations or anything. Okay, and that is how I made my first team, which was STAT, which was called a STAT, Student Technical Activity Club in our college. Okay, and with this team, we went to various competitions, various robotics competitions. And the year 2016 to 2017, we went to 4 competitions and we've won 0 of them. Okay, it was like most heartbreaking thing for us because we were trying our best that we could do, but we didn't win any of the competition. but we were in the top list of those competition. Okay, so whenever we lose, but still we were somewhere in the fourth or fifth position in those competitions. So we didn't lose our hope. Okay, so, and yeah, that's why you have to stand out of the crowd. If everybody makes a similar kind of robot, let's say a line following robot, so what will make you different from the crowd is you have to make something different in your robot so that it wins that match. So let's consider if you are making a very high end line following robot, let's consider if you are making it using a Raspberry Pi. So don't make it that much complex, because if any problem arises, it would be difficult for you to solve that problem. So what we focused on, focused on making things simple. Okay, so we wanted to make things simple, and we kept on trying. Okay, so this ended up our first year of engineering, and we were there in the vacation period. But what we focused on, we wanted to keep on trying. We wanted to work even in vacation. We kept the motto that aram haram hai. We didn't wanted to waste our time in anything else. So that's why in the summer vacation, me along with four of my friends, we spent the whole summer vacation in our college, and we made this humanoid robot, which was Disha, in the year 2017, May 2017. Okay, and that was a year when there was no Sophia, there was no other robotics humanoid robots which were commercially available. So if you go and search, the first social appearance of Sophia was in September 2017. So we made this robot even before Sophia was introduced. Okay, and it had all the capabilities that Sophia could have, but we didn't promoted it much, but it was a good learning experience for us. So I have a video over here which will show you what exactly Disha did. So this was the complete humanoid robot. So it could interact with people, it could talk to people, it had voice recognition. So you can see we pre-coded some hand gestures. So, and even we built it using a mannequin. So the mannequins that you see in malls to wear clothes, so we used that to make a robot, and it could dance. And we made a lot of more functionalities into it. It was even mobile control, so I can control it and I can move it around. We added animatronics later on to it. Okay, and we even made a second version of Disha. So it could recognize people. So here it is recognizing the skeleton. So it can understand that people is saying hi. It can recognize multiple people. It can differentiate between it. Even it can recognize the body language and understand what the person in front is trying to say. It had cameras, so it could recognize person. So here it is recognizing me. Here it is recognizing other person. So even we had voice recognition, as I said. So there was complete facial expression that was built into the robot. Okay. Even object recognition. So this was completely built by us because we were so passionate about this project. We wanted Disha to have everything that we could fit into it. Okay. So you couldn't hear, but here I am asking what is it. So it says it is a Raspberry Pi logo. I ask what is written, so it says TP-link. So it recognizes what is it is around, and it also had 3D mapping into it. So it had a lot of functionalities. Okay, it had a sound recognition and a lot more. So what we did was, once we learned what all things were needed to be learned, so we graduated to second year, and that is when we started to build a serious team out of our complete juniors. Okay, so we trained our juniors. We trained them to what with everything that we had previously. So that is when we started to train our juniors with everything that we learned previously. We trained in the field of robotics, automation, cloud technology, mobile application, web development, and all these thrust areas that we were working on. Okay, and even augmented reality, virtual reality, and a lot more stuff. And once we trained those people, we again went to other various competitions. Okay, and we traveled all around India. So as I said, we went to 30 plus national and international level events. We went to 15 colleges and universities, 10 different cities, 7 states, within a period of 2 years, I guess. Yeah, within a period of 2 years, we roamed this much. And in those 2 years, uh, we achieved first place at these many colleges. We received second place at other like BITS, Hyderabad, BITS, Goa, IIT Guwahati in Smart India Hackathon. There were a lot more competitions where we won. Okay, so that is what we keep on trying, and we wanted to become more and more better, and that is how we achieved all these things. Okay, and the core reason behind achieving all this was. You can say the secret behind this success was passion, focus, teamwork, never giving up, and finally the smart work. Okay, so in some competitions we played without even playing those competitions. So we just uh, like read between the lines in the rule books, and we find out some loopholes in these competitions, and we won even those competitions. So even that is possible if you play smartly. Okay, and once that was done, then I used to upload everything on Instagram. So here is a promotion that I'm doing. So please go follow me on Instagram. It's Pranshu Tople. I have around 2,500 followers. So whatever I used to build, I used to upload it on Instagram. And from there, I got a lot of connections in various industries. People started to know me from there. And once we went over there, so we got to know about a competition called as Smart India Hackathon, which was happening in the year 2019, and where there were 40 plus industries who presented their problem statement. There were total 198 problem statements. Okay, and there were total 2,000 plus idea submissions by almost 1,23,000 students. So we were the people who suggested one solution over there. We presented it for the company Ingersoll Rand, which is a Bangalore-based company. So it's an international company whose headquarters in India is in Bangalore. Okay, so they wanted us to make a virtual. You can say they wanted us to make the virtual reality or augmented reality of Tony Stark. Okay, so they wanted us to have hand gestures in air, and we can bring anything up. Okay, so we had some previous experiences in building VR games. So we made this virtual reality zombie attack game in which we had a gun. If I press the trigger, I can shoot the zombies. So this is what we made previously. So keeping that into concept, we made this kind of system, which was the whole VR box was made by us. There was no mobile or there was no HTC vibe. We used our own HDMI display along with all the electronics, and we added these few LED lights kind of thing, and that is how it used to track my hands. So these were multicolored LEDs, so I can like bring in red color, blue color, and green color. So it used to track those color, and it used to understand if I'm zooming in, zooming out, or what kind of gesture I am making. So according to that, we made this complete Smart India Hackathon journey, but it was not very uprising. Okay, there were many drawbacks. So if you just go on through the complete timeline, in January it was released. So the news was spreading about Smart India Hackathon. So, and on the last day we submitted our idea. Okay, so and then the software edition results came. So it was not regarding to us because we participated in 3 software ideas and 2 hardware ideas. That is how we participated. Okay, so in software edition, 3 out of 3 were rejected. So we were very on down hopes that we won't win or we won't be selected for this kind of thing. When hardware results came, it was like only the first edition of hardware came, first part, and we were not selected even then. So we were very demotivated. Like there is only one which is remaining, and we don't think we would be selected in that one. But luckily we got selected over there. We got into the Ingersoll Rand what we say problem statement, and we got selected. So we were working on those competitions, but we were continuously working. But what we did was we contacted the company. Okay, so this was not anywhere in the rule book that you cannot connect to the company. So the person who gave the problem statement, we contacted him on LinkedIn, and we asked, what exactly are you looking for? We asked them, what have you previously done in this field, and what more are you expecting in this field? So we communicated with them, and that is how we started to work on our initial prototypes. Okay, so we were working on prototype till May 2019 almost, and then we had vacations. And in those vacations, even I had to go for my internship at HL, and the complete team got distributed. Okay, so we wanted to focus on this project, but everyone was segregated due to different internships. But we didn't lose our hopes. We started like using the team coordination that we built in past 4 years. We kept on working, and we submitted the video of the prototype. Okay, after submitting the video, we got selected for the grand finale. And that was pretty cool, because if you want to know more about this journey, I've already made a video on YouTube. You can go and check it out. Okay, but apart from that, the prototype that we submitted, the company told this is not exactly what they want. Okay, the company said we want something completely different. So again, we had to start right from the ground up. We wanted to build another solution. So we kept on reworking, and there were many setbacks and challenges. Okay, because as I said, everyone was at their native place or at internship, so they were not able to work 24/7. Even in those challenges, I got sick. I got chicken pox, and due to which I was not able to manage the whole team, and it all went down. But again, there comes teamwork. Even if I was down at that time, my team took it very seriously, and they worked really hard on that. And we worked very hard on it, and the company liked the actual product during the final phase. Okay, but there was still one problem. We presented it to the vice president of the company, and he was very happy with the product. But at the same time, the opponents that we had were working very hard at the same time, and on the final day of presentation, nothing really worked. Okay, so we don't know what happened, but our complete solution was not working on the final day of Smart India Hackathon. But again, we had just 2 hours in our hand, and in those 2 hours we started to build more and more stable things that we could, and we jumped back and worked hard in those 2 hours, and that was how we won Smart India Hackathon. So it was totally ups and downs, and that journey actually taught me the importance of a team. Okay, so you can plan a lot things to do, you can plan a lot of things to do, you can be the leader of the team, but you cannot do it alone. That you have to always remember. Okay, so that is how we won Smart India Hackathon. Once we won Smart India Hackathon, we got into the industry. Okay, and as we got into the industry, I also graduated in the same duration, and that was gave birth to RigBetel Labs. So RigBetel Labs is my company that we registered in the year 2020, but we have been working on to it even before then. So it is a service-based company where we give companies the solution. So the Smart India Hackathon. So in that, what happened was the company had a problem of the virtual reality. Okay, and it was we who gave them solution. So we started to work on similar kind of products for different companies. We started to work for Indian-based companies, and we gave them products in the field of robotics, automation, virtual reality, and augmented reality. And in the year 2020, it turned out to be good for us because COVID happened, and due to that, involvement of people in a lot of jobs were reduced, and that gave us a boost. Okay, so how does that give us a boost was we started getting clients abroad who wanted to implement robots into their day-to-day life. So they wanted to replace robots into malls. They wanted to replace people who are working in warehouse with robots, and we got a lot more clients in this specific sector. Okay, so we started to work hard in the year 2020 into this robotic service sector, and we started developing our own robots, research and development, and even robotic applications. But in the year 2021, like a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, in the month of May, April and May, okay, April and May, we found a big drawback into this industry was many students knew about robotics, they knew about ROS, but they have worked only on simulations. Whenever we were hiring people for our company, we found a major drawback that those people have worked on simulation, but they don't know how to work on a real robot. They had zero idea of it. So we wanted to reduce that gap, industry gap, you can say. So that's the reason we started Tortoisebot Playground, which is a virtual lab where you can book a session completely for free. Okay, and once you book a session, you can get access to this arena along with the robot. So whatever you made code into your simulation, you can use the same code into this robot. So this robot which we built was a clone of a turtle bot, which is a ROS based robot, but it is not exactly a turtle bot. So here I have this robot with me. It looks a lot like Turtlebot, but it is not Turtlebot, trust me. It is a lot different in many cases. So Turtlebot costs around 60,000 in India, but we are focusing on making its cost around 1/4 of that in India. Okay. So you can consider anywhere around 15 to 20,000. We are trying to keep it that way. And not only the price of the robot, we are keeping it completely open source. So if you have all these parts at your home, you can build it on your own without paying us anything. And the reason behind doing this was we wanted to get more and more people get into ROS. We wanted more and more people to work on real ROS based robots. Okay, because working on simulation is not going to get you anywhere. So that's the reason work on simulation, but as well as on real robots. Okay, that was it. So this is our currently state. So we are working with various industrial projects, but at the same time, we are also having this service where you can book a session for free. Apart from that, we are also teaching ROS to a lot of students and working professionals. Okay, so if you see this link, RigBetelLabs.com/mentorship, you can go over there, fill up a form. So currently, since May, we have started almost 7 batches of ROS mentorship program. And in those mentorship program, we are teaching to students and industry professionals who have been working since years, and we are teaching ROS to them. So if you want to know more about ROS, you can get to that program. Okay. And so if you would ask what you would have learned from my thing was be an all-rounder. Okay, because you cannot be just an engineer and conquer the whole world. So you have to be all-rounder, value your team. Okay, because that is how my Smart India Hackathon team, I've like me along with the same friends have started this company, and it is going a lot high. Along with that, never give up and focus on your goal. So now if you have any questions, I am free to answer those.
I just wanted to ask you something. The thing is, like, right now I'm graduating this month. Like I'm graduating right this month, and I'm going for masters in the US to New York University.
Oh, that's
for
good.
electrical engineering. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So like, yeah, thanks. And I just wanted to know. The thing is, like, I'm both interested in robotics and embedded systems. So I have asked few of my seniors who are currently studying in the New York University, and they told me in terms of job perspective, they're asking me to focus on embedded system over robotics. So so I'm like I'm literally confused. I mean, what do you say? Like, I don't know, like which path should I choose? Because I'm taking a huge loan. Obviously, I need to look for return of investment as well, right? So the thing is, no, if you could give me your opinions.
So if you ask me, I would suggest don't go for electronics, go for robotics itself, because the reason why your seniors might be saying this is right now it is the point in industry where individual engineers who are like mechanical experts or electronics expert or embedded system experts, they are getting paid more right now. Okay, so maybe that's the reason they are saying the same thing to you. But at the same time, most of our clients who are like who have we are providing robotic service to them, they are from United States, Latin America, Europe, Argentina, and Mexico. So these parts of countries. Okay, so there what they're focusing is they won't pay a person if he just knows electronics. But if a person knows electronics as well as mechanical as well as some computer science and coding about the robot, they would like if you are opting a 3-person job, so obviously they would give you a job with 2-person salary. Okay, that is for sure. Okay, this is what we have. Okay, and the reason behind we still operating from India is if we go to US and if you operate at there, so the cost of living is a lot. The if you consider the percentage of money that we would be getting and then we would be spending a lot, so it would be like equal. But what we are doing currently is we are like providing service to the companies who are from foreign countries. We are charging them at a price of foreign price, but we are still spending it at the price of Indian price. So that is what is happening. So if you are going for masters in US, that's really great. And if you by the time you complete your masters, which is 2 years,
Yeah,
okay,
2 years.
so by that time even robotics will be more focused over there. Even people will be there will be lack of electronics engineers and mechanical engineers, but people who has done robotics, who are multi-skilled, will be valued more over there.
Yeah,
And
correct.
it is happening right now as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what like even
So,
yeah. So that's what like I just wanted to get into some sort of self-driving cars. Like I'm from
Pranshu,
yeah,
great
Kaushik.
session. Thank you so much for walking us through that entire background. It was a beautiful story, and I really like the fact that you've documented everything from the early
Thank
days
you.
all the way to the end. It really brings up to
Thanks.
a great story. So I have a few questions, and I think a few of them also had this earlier during the chat. So when it comes to like starting a robotics company from scratch, one of the things people fear about is how am I going to pay myself? How am I going to keep myself afloat when things aren't going right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of risk involved, and there's a lot of uncertainty, but the rewards could be on the other side quite high as well. But then it's always a risk factor. Have you tried approaching investors to fund your company? And if not, how do you keep your day-to-day operations going, even if you are not sure if tomorrow you would be getting the clients to, make sure that you have a salary to keep your basic needs going? So
Yeah.
how do you mitigate that risk?
So that is a really good question. So I get this a lot, and many people right now, whenever they think about starting a robotic startup, what they think is just grab an investor and start a robotic product company. Okay, that is what I have seen recently happening a lot in India, and even in past few months, there are a lot of robotics companies that have grabbed really good investors. But investment never like attracted me anytime soon. Okay, so I was only focused on my passion and I was not focused on money. But at the same time, uh, in the initial days we thought of creating a product like the warehouse robots. We thought of making it of our own, but then we thought is if we go by that, we have to invest money right now, which was not possible. So that's the reason we started with a service based company. We started to consult other people. We started to take as a service based, where we can give them consultation as well as research and development in the software side. So we started by that, and we were getting regular income from that. Okay, so that is how we started our regular income, and it was just three of us co-founder who started it. So it was just three of us who was handling. So we didn't have to pay anyone else, and along with that, we started to save everything on our own. Okay, so we used to pay a little bit to ourselves just to uh, satisfy our daily needs like rent and food related stuff. But apart from that, we started saving all the prices. And after a year, like it's been almost a year, so we registered our company in July 2020. So it's now June 2021, so it's almost an year, and we have like gathered this much amount that we can hire interns right now. We can hire full-time employees right now. We can invest into projects, but we never went for investor, because if we went for investor, then we had a pressure on us to pay back the investment. So we want it would have been like we have to make a product that could sell. But instead of that, instead of going for that approach, we kept a service based company, and we like started to work for clients on a longer term basis. So if we get a project, so we try to keep that project almost at least 2 to 6 months of project. And we just don't work with one client at a time, we work with multiple clients at a time. So what does this plan give us a spare time in which we can think what to do next. So right now, let's consider if I grabbed a client 2 months ago for a 6 month duration. So if 2 months are already over, I have only 4 months to think what I can do 4 months after this. So that's how we started to do it. And yeah, obviously this is a very capital intensive thing that robotics needs a lot of capital, but we avoided getting into that stuff by keeping ourselves service based. So that is what we are focused on. So right now we have a lot of capital, so maybe we will start like releasing our products one by one. We are thinking of it, but still right now the market is too much saturated and there are a lot of people who are getting into this field. So we are thinking to avoid that kind of field where we go product based, but still we are still confused about that. But currently we have kept a service based, and that is how we are surviving.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, so how do you work on the robots? Like, do the clients ask for simulations because you can't work on the robots physically?
Yeah, so there are two parts in every project. So if the person is in in local India, so it's very easy. He sends us the robot, we may work on it and we send it back. But if the client is from abroad countries, so first we work on the simulation. So we make our own simulation and we then send it to them for evaluation. They evaluates what things needs to be added and all related stuff. Once the simulation is done, then comes the hard part where they have their own team over there who knows mechanical related things, who knows electronics related things, and a little bit of computer science, but they don't know robotics and ROS. So it's our job to have regular sessions with those teams and instruct them what to do. So it's completely consultation based after that. Okay, so the complete simulation and work structure of the robot, we have to build it ourselves first. And once that is done, then we instruct those teams over into other countries, like how they can move. Okay, and most of the task is like we sit night and night on PCs and we have to video call them. They are there right now in front of the robot and they do some things, we instruct them. So even this has happened in previously. So even you have to work that way as well.
Yeah. So like, how did you get your first client for robotics and stuff?
So as I said, we started with the Smart India Hackathon related stuff. Okay, and that was our gateway to get into industry. Once we got into industry, the person who was working there in Ingersoll Rand, he gave us a couple of other companies who were willing to have similar kind of products. And then it went on like word of mouth was the only way we grew, because this was going to be a B2B solution. Okay, it was not being, it was business to business. So, and a business would trust us only if other business recommends it. So the word of mouth was the only way of publicity that we did until now. And right now we are trying to go B2C, as we wanted to grow more about this community. We wanted to, more and more people to try out these robots. But up till now, it was just word of mouth. And the other point was I started my YouTube channel in 2020 itself. Okay, so in 2020 I started releasing my YouTube videos, and people from abroad watched those videos and they got to know that I have no ROS. So that is how they connected with me, and a couple of clients we got from that itself. So the YouTube and word of mouth, these are the two things from where we got our clients.
Sir, I have a doubt. I'm my second year that how to start with robotics and Arduino, etc. I know programming languages, but how to implement, and its various questions are there left out with zero last. Please help me out with this.
Okay. So see, as I said, there is no proper key, like a path which you could follow, but I could just give you a little bit of points that could help you. Okay. So as you said, you already know programming languages. That is the most good thing that you have. Okay, because for me, I didn't know any programming. Okay, and that is how I started in the beginning. But you know programming, that's really good. So buy yourself an Arduino, start making Arduino related projects. There are a lot of projects on the internet that are available for Arduino. Like let's say if you are interested in making a security lock, so just search it on internet, security lock using Arduino, follow that tutorial and make on your own. That is how you would get well versed with electronics, how electronics works. Okay, and try to build as many projects as you can, because it keeps on like you keep on learning new things with each project. Okay, and only do projects that you are interested in. Okay, because if I tell you something, like if I tell you go and make a, what we say, fingerprint scanning device, but you have no interest in making a fingerprint scanning device, you will get bored and you will leave that project. But you don't want that right now. Only make projects that you are interested in, so that you get motivation to stay involved, and that is how you are going to make more and more projects. Okay, so start with Arduino. uh, Once you know that you are at a good scale where you know how to make your own Arduino related projects, then shift to Raspberry Pi. Okay, then if you get to Raspberry Pi, you have to build Python related projects, you have to build automation related projects, you can add internet to your project. So that is how you can get well versed with Raspberry Pi. And once you know Arduino and Raspberry Pi both, then get started with ROS and robotics. Okay, the core robotics and industrial robotics. So before that, get well versed with Arduino and Raspberry Pi. And you are in second year right now, you have a lot of time, trust me. As I said, in 1 month, I made 3 versions of Robotica. So you could even make those things as well. So just keep a goal. By the end of 2021, you have to learn Arduino and Raspberry Pi. Once you keep that goal, then just focus on that goal and work around it. Okay, and like 6 months are more than enough right now to work on Arduino and Raspberry Pi. You will learn a lot, and just focus, like once you, by the end of 2021, if you know Arduino and Raspberry Pi, then start working with ROS.
Okay, sir. Anything cost efficient? Like my friend suggested, like Arduino, you have to go, you have to spend a lot of money, and they suggested me like you can go with Tinkercad. It's also have the same purpose.
Yeah. So what will happen if you go to Tinkercad is you will only be able to try out a couple of things. Okay, on Tinkercad you can only simulate some thermometer sensor, some IR sensor and related stuff, but you cannot build a complete robot by your own. Okay, it might be costly in the beginning, but trust me, it is totally worth it. Okay, so you get a Arduino for 500 rupees, and in fact you can get a whole kit with all, like a lot of projects for around like 1000 or 2000 rupees. Just spare that 2000 rupees, get that kit, because once you have it in hand, you will get that actual feeling. Okay, so even when I started, there was no Tinkercad and related stuff at that time. Okay, and I literally cried in front of my mom just to get a 500 rupees Arduino. But once I got that, it opened me a lot of kits. So instead of going with Tinkercad, I will recommend you to buy it. Okay, it's totally a good investment that you can spend on yourself. But once you buy it, it will open a lot of opportunities for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Pranshu, another question that a lot of people have is,
Yes.
when you want to start registering a company, who do you approach?
Okay.
What are the legal terms to do? And did your college help with registering a company? Are you incubated somewhere? Can you also?
Yeah. So yes, our company is incubated by our college. So we have a entrepreneurship cell at our college, and we got some help from them while incubating. But the best place that I would recommend you to go if you want to automate all these things, because it is really hard when in the initial point where we have to file the taxes, we have to fill a lot of forms related to things. But there is a company called as startupwala.com. So I will just share my screen and I will show you to you guys. .com is a really great place. We even register our company through them. So it asks in what type of registration you want to make. Do you want to make a private limited? Do you want to make an LLP? So we ourselves registered as an LLP. So all we need to do was we wanted to give it for like a company name, email ID, phone number, city, and looking for. So you are looking for LLP registration, and they will call you back. Okay, so they are a really good place you can start with, because we did this LLP registration and it costed us just around 3,500 rupees, and all the documentation was taken and was handled by them. We didn't have to do anything from our end. So like that was the point where we waived off a lot of like problems from our head to theirs, because we wanted to more focus on the robotics aspect. We wanted to focus more on the technical aspect of our business. And we don't wanted to get tangled in these paperworks and related stuff. So this is a really great place that you can visit, startupwala.com.
The question I had is, like, you told us that you made 3 different versions of the robot arm in 3 weeks. So, like, is a week a good enough time to like decide a project and then work on it and get it to a final spot where you can say that you are satisfied with the project and let's move on to the next thing we want to do?
Yeah, definitely. Because see, the only thing you are short on is time. Okay. If you keep on perfecting one specific thing, then what will happen is you won't get time to work on other stuff. Okay. So if you just work on 6 months on just one robotic arm, you will definitely be an expert in robotic arms, but you won't understand anything else apart from a robotic arm. And that can cause something like you will be master of one, but rest of the things you will leave off. So right now, most of the companies approach us because we have a lot of solution into one plate. So let's consider if a medicine manufacturer, they approach us. What we can provide them is we can provide them an app for ordering medicine. We can provide them robots for warehouse management, and we can provide them website for all the inventory management. So it is, they are getting everything at one place. But if the same person approaches you, he will only get a robot from you, right? He won't get anything else. And what will that cause is you will lose clients such way. So that's the reason you need to be all rounder in today's age if you want to conquer everything. Okay. And 1 week is if the more time you waste on a project, not waste actually, the more time you invest into a project, you will get more and more like emotionally attached to that project. Okay. So whenever I used to work, I used to build a robot. Once it is built, I used to scrap those parts and I used to make it from the same parts. If I would have been emotionally attached with that robot, I wouldn't like leave it, let it go. I won't like dismantle it. So you don't want that as well. So keep on evolving yourself. Okay. So that robot arm was my first robot arm, and within 3 weeks, I developed it more and more. So, and one more thing I would like to tell, there is a special material called as foam board that you can use for rapid prototyping. Okay. So many people say, I don't have a 3D printer. How can I make a robot arm? So there are foam board related, foam board name stuff that you can use. So it is very easy to cut using cutter, and it sticks instantly using super glue. So that was the main thing that I could make 3 robot arms in such a short duration, because I used to, if anything broke, I used to just cut it instantly and paste it together. So that is how I built so many robot arms in such a short duration. So work on prototypes more and more. Okay.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Yeah, Suraj, how did you manage funding at the beginning of the startup? So, Suraj, in the beginning of the startup, we managed funds from the competitions that we won in the start. Okay. So, if you ask how did I win the competition? So, starting, we got some money from our parents to build those robots, and using those robots, we used to go at different competitions. We used to win those competitions, and that was the funds that we collected, and that was the initial investment for our startup. Okay. And that is how we could pay this 3,500 rupees for startup registration and everything else. And even in Smart India Hackathon, we won 1 lakh rupees. So we even invested that into our startup.
All right, Pranshu, I think we're also like over our prescribed deadline. So
Yes.
thank you so much for your time. Guys, Pranshu is also always available on the server. So if you have any questions that you get after your after the session, you can always reach him there. And yeah, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure a lot of us, gained something useful and insightful. And yeah, we're looking forward to stay connected with you on the community. Thanks,
Yes.
Pranshu.